And welcome in everyone to our third Captain's Journey by Arcade, as we are on the first match of the tourney. Team Angelz versus Team Finesse on Team Angelz killer set of BLIGHT. And a pretty early find here for Flix on a fly. And goes for a flick, not quite enough to get the tag. As we do see them rotate in the midfield. We see some scratch marks off into the distance here. Survivor is trying to rotate away from to that corrupt side. Going for is it enough? Hits across. It is by taking the tag. Seems to be going to the corrupted side towards Shaq. As Flix possibly seeing if they find someone to the ground. By stopping to drop the filler pest with the champion of light blind. That hindered status on BLIGHT. As maybe possibly the jigging by apply here, but no, Flix is able to stay on their trail as all teams to be over here is Z-Wall. Not much a Survivor can really do here, but a good effort nonetheless, as that'll be our first down on apply. As Survivors, I'm interested to see if it was a very good death spot. They could be doubling a gen. I would imagine a gen is somewhere around 80%, and there it probably is with Deja, with Box. Those gens, that first gen versus BLIGHT can go very fast. As Flix seeing if they find the other gen that would be progress, and I think they might have found it here. Is this gen not much progress, but is going to pick it. And that will reveal our next perk with the see the gen faintly glowing yellow. Looking to see if they can find the cross. They can deny Deli here. This will put Flix in a very good spot to get a good result here. Groaning 2, not the best map for BLIGHT, I'd say. So very important if they can find them. Does find Finesse though. It seems like Flix doesn't really care about that. Just wants to get these eruptions on the be up for the next down as we see the hook happening. A little bit maybe of too soon to pull as Flix already back here. Excuse me, fine. They see Wispy. They use too much silly. Goes for it, hits the BT and the reverse stun. But Apply able to live a little longer. I think if they live another 5 seconds or so, that'll be the guaranteed deli up for Wispy. As in the main building here, 3 rushes is gonna hit the shoulder flick on Apply, as I think that might have been enough time lasting for it. As we get those eruption procs off the distance. But the DS, that is not gonna be the second hook yet. Is Apply vaulting through the back of main. Seems like Flix isn't gonna go for his tunnel out. Wants to just seems going for generators. No, is now going behind main. Wanted to just force that pallet drop. It seems like does see them off the distance, but no more rushes. This is gonna be a lot of distance. Yeah, and we see another gen pop as well. As Apply has a lot of time that they can waste here, making it all the way back to the filler that they had started their chase at. As Flix maybe going for an M1 mind game here. It is cross-ping, so it is hittable. As Apply reading it well, getting those vaults off, is going to just commit to king around. Flix going for the rush. 1 rush, 2, 3, 4. Apply with the moves, and hits the dead hard. As that'll stall even longer. I'd imagine we see possibly a 3rd, maybe even a 4th gen popping now, so we know that Wispy, I think, is pressuring that 2-side generator. As now at this filler, Apply, great patience by him as he's holding it. And still, seems like we want to go for that M1, force the pallet, maybe great to go for rush. Flix going for those rushes. Hits the flick though, and that'll be the down on Apply. I wonder if we might see a possible SB come in on the pallet save. No, not going to be the case. As they will get a second hook in mid-map, so it's a pretty okay hook spot for them. As we are looking now to see if we can find a Survivor. I think we saw scratch marks here at this tile. Yeah, no, or very little gen progress, I should say, on it. And I think that might have been a Wispy here. Some great bump logic to get the tag without even letting him get the pallet. A pretty fast pull and Apply. It seems like Flix, yeah, wants to just punish it. They need to get a kill here as fast as they can, as the gen spread's not really great for holding that 3 gen with eruption. But yeah, no, does not want to go for kill. They want to get down on Wispy here. Does break the pallet. I don't think Wispy has a lot on this bottom side. We saw Apply take the chase here earlier. Yeah, no, they just want to play this vault, it seems like. As maybe, no, we hear they're at the corner of the tile. Forcing locker, yeah, Wispy knows that it is over for them in this chase. As that'll be the hook onto them. Now, I wonder if we see them double, maybe even triple stacking that gen across. Nope, the heal coming in on Apply. I don't think he was medkit, so that should be someone else resetting him. No pressure on that gen part, but a lot of pressure on this gen near Shaq. I think that's about 90 is, yeah, we're going to get the eruption kick onto it. This Flix now has to play a dangerous balance here. Going, oh, but the blind on slow-mo, but it doesn't matter because Flix hits it anyways. Is now, yeah, a dangerous game of defending the pole, wanting to keep the gen up and making sure it doesn't pop, but also wanting to commit for the eruption. As yeah, it seems like slow-mo just having to dive corner here. It is, we see the eruption go off. I can't tell quite if we see aura on that gen, if they're committing or not. I don't think so. But they could have just dodged it and called it properly, and I think they did, yeah. That gen's not, I don't think it's progressing anymore. As it is very high progress still. And that gen off in the far, yeah. Flix knows it, they haven't checked it yet. Getting eyes on it, couldn't quite tell. As we see Apply, yeah, Apply just aggroing the gen of just one last stage left on them. Rushing through Shack, 2 rushes. Applies in Shack, gets the tag though. As they're vaulting out, Flix knows they need to just keep progressing this gen. Goes for, I think, their second or third kick on it. As we see the pick on the slow-mo off in the distance. Apply still just a check. This could be a fast down as there's no pallet here. There's nothing but Flix. The trees are made of butter, not able to quite get a bump onto it. As I wonder if that'll be enough distance for Apply to make something, possibly the midfield. As Apply, yeah, he makes this rock filler here. But we do know that Apply was dead hard. Does he hit it? No, he does not. As that'll be the eruption back on it. And it seems like, yeah, Flix just checking on that gen off in the distance. Death on pallet. But we do see aura on this gen here. Wispy is possibly looking to commit. As it looks like Flix is going to possibly just slug this out. Yeah, the double here. We know where every survivor is. As, yeah, we see the Jake now camping the other side of this. Doesn't want to quite give that down. If Flix can get a fast down on do slow-mo here, and we know that Wispy might be committing that gen, they might be able to get a solid 4K0 here, which would not be a bad result at all. But Blastmind stalling him out as he tries to kick the gen. I'd have to imagine that pick not happening on a play. That gen and Shack might just pop in their face. Goes Rush, and it does. I think that is still Wispy. Yeah, Wispy going in. Doesn't get the hit. Great held SB by them. Pick on Apply happens. Survivors scrambling to try to get throughout the door here. There's a lot of injuries though, so not quite an over game yet. As you see, I think 1 or 2 red lights on that door. Will the Blight be able to get their soft? Isn't going to, just wants to take the tag on Finesse. I don't know if that was the right play for them, as the survivors seem to be keying. Nope, Apply stuck at this pallet. As this could be, now Rush trying to down them here. No, survivors didn't quite get that gate up, I don't think. They are now all stuck kind of at this jungle gym here. And now being pushed to the dodge rock. I think someone might have been hooked once, but doesn't quite get the down because the pallet just absorbs it. We see someone working that door. Doesn't get the hit on slow-mo. Yeah, Apply wants to just play aggressive here. They are worth the least, and they hit the dead hard. Not quite able. That door, Shack side could be open as it looks like Wispy's just going for it. We haven't seen them in a bit here, as they could have had that door already. Yeah, I see red lights glowing in the distance. As they might, I think they're just seeing if they can get everyone but Apply possibly out. We hear the door being worked behind them. As Flix knows, he needs to just commit to this for this down. Get the most stages he can possibly on slow-mo. Nope, looks like we're gonna go tag Wispy. But Wispy with the moves, flaring Flix. Is now that they are seeing to hold them. They know slow-mo hasn't quite made the main building. We see them inside through the windows. As it looks like we're just gonna try to hold them here, not let them make it to Shack or to that door at 11 side. As I don't know, oh, we do have eyes on them still in main building. As I wonder if the survivors will see them play a little slower here. They have that time before the end game collapse gets them. They could go for the reset. Flix wanting to commit in. The pallet here though. Wispy threatening it. Flix knows they can't walk through it. Tries to go for the block, isn't quite gonna get it. As we see Apply coming as well. Everyone coming to protect slow-mo, but it's not enough because Flix with the Flix is able to get the down. And it looks like they are gonna just take that hook as far away as they possibly can. As I don't know if they make this. This could be very close. If they wiggle out here, Apply and Wispy might be able to take some body blocks, as it is enough. As that'll be the hook on the fresh slow-mo. As I wonder if survivors now, they haven't left yet. They could be playing this, possibly get this out, maybe trade Apply's life for it, as he is death hook. Yeah, Apply's healed. Flix is looking for it. He knows that if they're staying for this, he needs to find this reset. Because no one's going to be just stealthing there because it's way too risky. And now, we will see if the survivors, I would imagine we see Finesse healed as well here in a second. We see some scratch marks at the 12 center main building. Doors are very far, and BLIGHT very good at closing that distance. Nope, and the survivors are just going to take their stages. A good recovery by Flix to get that fresh, at least to the end game, but amazing by the survivors. Especially applies slowing down that tunnel out with the DS with 2 dead hearts, and just general patience at every pallet they played. I'm very interested in the second half of the set. We will be right back to have the second half of the BLIGHT set. And welcome back, everybody, to our second match of the BLIGHT set. Wispy on the killer. As Team Angelz will be taking a little bit of a penalty here of half a hook stage for delay. The win con for Wispy now is 6 stages. As Wispy checking their totem early. Looking to see as we do see Spitz here at main building. Wispy's going to break the door, yeah. We will see. Spitz is gonna get the drop. Thought they were gonna hit the stun there for a second. This looks like they were camping it. Just be looking around, see if they can find possibly a better chase. But there is a lot of failures here, but looks like they're just gonna choose to commit to this and just start breaking pretty fast. Goes for a flick, not quite able to get it. It looks like maybe gonna go for another. Fits with the dodge though in time. Is gonna be able to evade that first tag of the game. Is now Wispy is searching, looking for that pressure on the gens. Here a bit of pressure over here. Will we spot the survivor, whoever it may be, out? Checking around, looking inside the Wendy's town. Not quite enough to see them. No one lurking behind the rocks. We do find Flix at the shack. He's gonna drop that shack pallet early. Gonna break it for Wispy. As they do have a God Pillar here though. Wispy waiting for those rushes to recharge. Are we gonna break it or are we gonna play to rush it? So we're going for the mind game on it. And they just about get it off, but the life is enough for Flix. As we are just gonna break it. Is now I don't know if they quite are able to make anything else, but it doesn't matter. Wispy doesn't want them. Wispy wants to find someone else, and they do. They find Angelz. And great bump to them. Able to get the tag at the TNL. Is now Angelz taking it kind of towards the middle of the map. This could be a little bit of a dangerous spot here, as Wispy could get a pretty good death area if they could. Able to evade the crackers. This pallet was already used by Spitz in main, so this should just get down, and it is. Angelz taking the first down of the game. As now we should see pretty early, pretty good hook here. As now Wispy gonna see if they can just get it. Yeah, we see Ruin already regressing this gen here. As there's not a lot left, we see Spitz rotating through main building, it looks like. We know we saw Flix around shack. I don't think we've seen Slam. As Spitz, able to evade that, is able to take it to the corner, but Wispy doesn't want to commit, wants to just, I think, defend their hook here. Again, 6 stages, very achievable for BLIGHT. As they want, I think, just possibly push people off the field. Yeah, as they're going back to where they saw before. And that will reveal 2 gens popping now as we find Slamma. And that will reveal another of our first Rancor, Wispy playing it even safer, wanting to just possibly get like 4 stages, maybe even just go for the kill. Doesn't quite go for the lunge, but Angelz not able to body block. That'll be a down on the Slamma. But it seems like Wispy doesn't want to go for them. Just going to choose to slug it. As now they're going to see if they get the down. Maybe down at Deli and Wispy. As with the hit through the window, I think that was a fast enough down to where if Slamma was Deli, I don't think they got it up. Is now they have a pretty good hook here, but no, they want to bring it back to that main building. Is Slamma getting up? I don't know if I saw another survivor yet. Yeah, no, we see all survivors. That wasn't breakable on Slamma. We see a survivor off in the distance at one, likely I think Flix, because we saw him there. No, I was mistaken. Flix is here. That was Spitz. Spitz just instantly getting the stun, but not only 1 rush used, so that will be a very fast recharge. This Wispy seems like they're gonna choose to go push Spitz off, and they are. That is a very high progress gen though. And they find both. Gets the bump. They're just behind this rock. Wispy gonna choose to play safe fatigue. They know that Slamma already used Unbreakable. If they can just get this down, then they can't do anything about it. Yeah, and they do. As we saw, Wispy just wanted the slug before, and yeah, they are gonna continue to slug out that survivor. but they aren't going back for tunnel. They're going for Spitz instead. Great bump logic, able to get the tag. Thought for a second Spitz was going to be able to evade there, but is not quite going to be it. And Spitz, yeah, there is nothing over here. Spitz now realizing, as I'm pretty sure we saw Flicks with like earlier, so they're not going to make any distance off this. This is just a Z-wall to play for their life, but we've seen Spitz before able to play very well on them, but Wispy not falling for it today. Just going to hold W round and get that down. And find Flicks here, as this is a very dangerous spot for survivors. They had a lot of gem pressure, but they're slowing down here. Able to get the kill. Angel himself, and Flicks going down at main building. It is just Angelz up. We know Unbreakable was already used. As if Wispy can find Angelz, that will be, I think, practically it. Because it won't matter really, as there will be 2 gens remaining. That'll be the win. Instead, we're going to choose just to hook Flicks. We see the blood. It seems like Wispy maybe just playing for their hook stages. Nope. And they choose to leave them slug to that. Likely was Deli earlier that got the first unhook, so seems like we're not going to choose to let them just get off that on their own. As the pick on Spitz happens, yeah. Nope. Seems like we are going to hook Slamma here. As we know where the other 2 were. Probably wrapping down that right side of the map if I had to guess. Maybe one stealthing. As Wispy seems perfectly fine just camping this, maybe. Maybe getting out as a generator. I think I still see some sparks on it. I don't think they're working it. As I wonder if we'll see the heal happen on the Spitz here. As it's, if they're assuming that Slamma was the Deli, then they probably feel pretty fine with letting these 2 hang, as Slamma can just pull himself and maybe even get the pull on Flicks, or just get themselves out of dodge completely and just get out of the area. But a very good 3-gen here for Wispy. Main building, 12 and 1. Very safe as Wispy, I think, spotting. I don't know if that gem is regressing anymore. I think there might be someone on it outside, but Wispy, yeah, just can choose to, they want to camp this. The pull is happening. Maybe didn't get that Deli up, yeah. I don't think that first chase was quite, or second chase was quite long enough. As Wispy going for the bump, goes with the flick, but Angelz with the moves, able to not quite get hit there. As yeah, this shows a lot of progress. Spitz is going to pop it in their face, and he finishes the heal. This is not going to quite be as fast as what we might have thought in this corner with the injured Spitz. One bump. With the locker, Spitz able to evade there. Just hiding away in that. It's going to take the tag. Not a lot they can really run to. As Wispy thinks they're still here. Gonna mind game it, and they were correct. Spitz is going to be dead here at this tile. As if they hook this, I think that is the win with the 6 stages. But still plenty more to play for if they can get it. This I don't know quite what their last gen is. They have 12 main and 10. That's a pretty close. Wispy still is a very good gen, so it could very well still 4K1 this. As it sounds like this gen is a decent bit of progress. Not quite enough to be popped in their face as the last one, but still enough. I think we saw Flicks there at the tile, but Angelz here running along the edge, just taking as much distance as they can before they take this tag. Yeah, they do. See if Wispy doesn't want to commit quite. Maybe can rush back, maybe go for the survivor on this gen. And it looks like the gen survivor has been chosen. Oh, and a great bump logic, very fast by Wispy. Gonna get that. Flicks pre-dropping to be safe. He's gonna run to that tile. I don't know if this pallet was used quite yet. This could be it. Goes to the swing. Flicks able to key around the long side of it though. We'll see if Wispy going for that M1 mind game. We know their M1 prowess, and they are able to get it onto Flicks. And this should be a very good hook spot for Wispy. Yeah, hooking almost in the center of this 3-gen. This is in a very playable spot for them. Oh wait, no, Flicks was for a second, wasn't he? Yeah, he was. He's at his death, but they get the totem. This is even better possibly for Wispy now. Especially a very early find on Spitz here. That totem just popped. We saw the gen at 10 had maybe 40% progress, so a little bit of time here. I think it's Chase going for the M1 mind game. Is he going to be quite caught up? But with the rush, is not a lot that Spitz can do there. As they are going to take the tag. Now we do see Angelz. Yeah, Angelz wants to commit to this gen. It seems like Wispy's going to punish him for it. Wants to make him at least take the tag. As Angelz doing as much as he can. The survivor on this rush. He's going to force the rushes at least. As they then take their distance off to the TNLs. As we haven't seen Slam in a bit. I wonder if Slam is on that main building or 12. Or possibly resetting Spitz. I don't know if he has any charges left on that medkit. As it sounds like main building, yeah, has some progress, and we do see Slamma there. Wispy just gonna get that eruption up onto them. As we know Wispy's full build now. And it looks like, yeah, is that Angelz pushing back in? I think it might be, yeah. Angelz edge map here. I don't know if they're going to be able to get out of this with the Blight rushes. Oh, but isn't it just fatigue? Yeah. As they are edge map, though. There's not a lot you can really do to keep surviving at edge map. If you get the eruption, I think we heard slam on main. As Spitz, we haven't seen him in quite a minute, as he could be lurking for this somewhere 12 or something. But Slamma just sticking at Gen, I don't know if that's quite close enough for him to be sticking like that. As Angelz now, no, we see Spitz on 12. As yeah, that main Gen, not enough progress. It seems like Wispy just wants to commit to Spitz, maybe get the slow. What the face kicks? It's pointing. But Wispy, great fake by them. They're able to get that down, and now we see Slamma's scratch marks. As I don't think they're main, I think they might have wrapped that rock around them above them. I don't know quite where they're stealthing yet. Oh, they are here, yeah. Playing for the beam save. A little bit of some funny business at the end game here, but as it looks like, yeah, this pallet's gonna go down, as there's not much else for them to really play here. As you see Slammo, yeah, just being towards that, you know. Will they get the tag here? We send it, doesn't quite send it just for the lunge. As Spitz is bleeding out 12 side, we are going to just commit to Slamma. As Slamma, I don't know what exhaustion quite they are, but Wispy going for the mind game, not quite the way. Close to the locker, that locker is quite enough, but isn't going to take the M1 onto Slamma. As the rush is back, TNL, a pretty good tile for Blight. Solid bump logic, but we do hear them. I don't know if we saw them or heard them, but we did find them down, crouching at the window, as that'll be the down onto them. As now Wispy just has to go clean up their slugs on the ground, go find Spitz on the top side, and that'll be it for them. As great performance by them, as that'll be Team Finesse taking that set. Do they find Spitz or Spitz bleeding out? I think they were hooked, so I think even if they bleed, I don't think it has any impact. And all gens are up, so even if they somehow did call to Shack, I don't think Hatch is going to matter, because, yeah, gens up and Hatch, and it doesn't matter. Maybe stalling out just for the moral win at the end of the day. As, you know, we're just going to close the Hatch. Because I don't think quite the endgame collapse is going to be enough to take them here, as they just sit on the hill. Maybe just going to let them bleed out. Some time for them to, just to recuperate going into the next trial, being a dock set. I'd be very happy if you were Wispy and Team Finesse here, as you took one of the Team Angelz sets that they chose. And for Team Angelz, you gotta be thinking about how you're gonna be ready for the next game. You know, Blight, Groaning 2, not a very strong killer on the map particularly, but it seems like sitting here knew that they did nothing left that they could do, as we are going to see again, very happy if you are Wispy and Team Finesse after that, going into the next set. Probably very high mental for Wispy, as we will be right back for a dock set. And we are into our second set of Team Angelz versus Team Finesse in the third captain's tourney. Wispy on the dock, hitting that big static shock, is going to find every survivor, but Spitz already just going to pre-drop the wagon pallet, as it seems like they want to keep chase over here on the gallows side. As Wispy seems fine to do that, honestly. As Spitz going to pre-drop the pallet. Is gonna greet it. Looks like, I don't know if they're gonna make my cycle if they get shocked, as they just might. Spitz is some very good net, but not gonna quite go for the vault, as Wispy's just gonna take the tag, as you're gonna see that rapid brutality come in, that faster way to catch up to survivors, pre-throwing the Shack, as doesn't seem to want to commit to keeping chase over here, as we're gonna go for the 6-wheelers. We do see the Hex Totem right there. Wonder if Spitz caught his eyes on that while running that way. They can get that totem out pretty fast with that ruin. That would be very good for them. As we saw that generator start regressing. As it seems like we're going to switch over to Angelz here. Possibly force some tier 3. No, they're going to just play this filler here at mid. As this time drop, this should be a hit, I think, here. This is not a very great palette to play. But Angelz playing it very well nonetheless. As Angelz able to get the pre-drop, yeah, playing his palette very well. Able to stall a lot of time here. Wispy going for another big static shock. is gonna hit, I think, every survivor again, forcing Angelz into tier 3 with it, and finding them as we do find Flicks here, possibly here for the reset, or maybe for the totem that they saw. As we do see the first gen pop on the top side. As gonna just seem the key to water tower here. And isn't going to, just gonna wrap this hook, it looks like. As Shock comes in, and that should be a tag on the Flicks here. As I think he stayed at water tower, but I don't know if Wispy quite cares, wants to maybe find him. Nope, they did key up on the backside of these buildings here. As depending on what tiles they got here, not the best. It seems like got shocked possibly out of the vault. As this could be a very fast chase for Wispy. Is Wispy gonna win the mind game here? Gonna get the down on the Flicks. We see Slamma over there at the generator, maybe lurking for a beam. Nope, I was wrong. I don't know that it was Angelz that was going for the beam, but Wispy able to look away, not quite take the blind of that. Now we do have a mid hook, and this is a very good, especially those gens that straight gen by main and this mid gen with that ruin still up. This is just so powerful for them, as they can just sit here and shock both gens practically the same time. As if I were the survivors, I would be scouring to find that totem. This ruin is just going to eat these gens alive here. As we see, I think all survivors still, we saw the scream over there at the back of those buildings. I think we saw Slammer rotate away. As they do find Spitzes, yeah, even that totem isn't so close. As he's just gonna probably keep getting shocked off of it. Every 8 seconds or so, go look back at him, shock him off of it. Now I think he might be tier 3, as now he has to snap out of it before he can do that. As we might see Slamma prop that gen at 12, as we're not quite going over there to shock them out of it. Maybe not. As it seems like Angel's the one playing for this hook. Yeah, no. We don't get the shock on the Slamma here. Slamma probably just cranking away that gen. Seems like we are going to take the tag onto Angelz here. As I don't know if we quite saw them diving the hook. Yeah, Slamma gets the hook. I don't know if that was quite for a second or not. It seems like we're going to possibly commit to the chase onto Angelz here. As Spitz might be able to get that totem out now. This pre-drop happens, yeah. It does not quite come through. Wispy, I think, should be able to get the tag here. There goes the totem. Spitz able to commit to that there. Here comes the down onto Angelz. And now the survivors, very good recovery by them. That hook pull happening right before it hits second. Very good for them is not let the tunnel happen at 4 or 3 gens. Seems like Wispy wanting to cut whoever this is off from making the shack, and it is Flicks. As Flicks is gonna get the medium vault barely, it looks like, as they slid across the window, and wrapping the top side of shack here. Slamma coming in for the hit tank, blocking the door. Yep. As we see the pickup happen onto Angelz. As now it seems we're gonna pivot our attention to Slamma here. As the shock does come through, I don't think they're going to get the vault on this back vault here, so this should just be the down on him. And it is. As these gens have high progress, but Wispy doesn't want to hook any of these survivors. I don't know if they want to see if they can try to wait till they get their tunnel out survivor, or if they're just slugging them out to maybe get a 4K slug going here. I don't know. And we find Spitz rotating down the shack, doesn't quite want to commit to that chase. I think we're looking to see if we can find someone crossing the pickup Slamma here, or maybe just going back for the pickup. And I think that is the case here. Is yeah, we don't see another survivor lurking edge map for this. We do have a hook here at the 11 side of main. We are gonna hook, and that is our first pain res, likely on that 12 gen, I'd imagine. Unfortunate that mid hook that they initially hooked on earlier was not quite enough, as I don't know if we just heard a survivor nearby in a bush. We do find Flicks though at edge map here, still injured. As the shock, is that a bit of a mind game going on? It is, but Flicks able to read it and just hold W to water tower. Throws down that water tower pallet. The pull happens on Slamma off in the distance. We see a fake doctor off in that corner of Gallows. We know one survivor's over there. As if Wispy can get the down here pretty fast, and they get the shock. That is the down on Flicks, as this will be Flicks' second stage if I'm not mistaken. Maybe get a pain res hook on them as well, because they did on the first stage. Or if we're gonna just carry back to that mid hook, and it looks like, yeah, no, we're not gonna quite make the mid. We're just gonna take the pain res, get that regression on to one of those generators. As now I wonder if Wispy also saw that fake doc off the distance looking. Yeah, if we do shock Angelz over here, we know where they are. as we don't quite know where Spitz and Slam are. As we see the fake dock in the street here, knowing that someone is lurking somewhere around here. As that dock can be in a lot of different places. Or it can be in a lot of different places for where that clone of them is. That seems like, oh, I think they're in the tile below them, but I don't think Wispy quite saw. As Spitz and Slam here kind of stuck on this top side here. As Wispy's gonna kick the gen. No eruption for them, as we do know full build. With Corrupt, Ruin, Pain, and Rapid. As it seems like Wispy here is just gonna choose to slow it down and camp this out. If they can get this kill, Angelz pops that gen over in the Gallows area. Not a great 3-gen for them to play, because you can't really pressure that street gen over there, leaving Gallows in open. Yeah, kind of a 2-2 split almost, with Water Tower, Gallows, and then the 2 gens up top near main. As Wispy, yeah, maybe, yeah, the kill is going to happen on the flicks here. Spitz just going to commit to pressuring that gen, and I think Slamma, yeah, Slamma was over here. We shocked them earlier. So we're going to kick the generator. Is now, if Wispy can get a good slug going here, no gen has a real lot of progress. They could definitely bring this into a 4K1, possibly a 4K0 if the survivors really pressure the gens properly. It seems like stuck at this pallet, Slamma's going to fake it. Goodbye then. They're going to be able to make the pile, but with the shock, not going to be able to make it to the vault. They might make the pallet in front of it, but they're choosing not to. Instead, just going to for distance, take the tag, and bring it bot. As we know, Spitz wants to pressure that street gen. And yeah, Wispy knows it, sees them wrapping behind the main building. Gonna take the big shock. Gonna see if we can push them to tier 3, and we do. Angelz as well. I don't quite know where we shocked them. Oh, they are also back there. Possibly maybe going for a reset. No reset, because Slamma we know is at bottom side. Maybe just 2 people pressuring that street gen. As we are gonna commit to Spitz at main building here. Main building has a lot of good vaults, a lot of good places to really throw off the dock's power and stuff like that. As we are going to just choose to seem to commit to them. As Spitz just going to keep wrapping main building, as we see Angelz over there taking that pre-leave. As we haven't seen Slamma, Slamma could be pressuring Gallows or that gen at Water Tower right now this entire time. If Spitz and Angelz can keep the pressure up on this gen and pull Wispy's attention, they could very well pop that last gen off into the distance. And Angelz playing this style very well, forcing them to shock at the vault. Is now they have the pallet. This pallet, very difficult to shock, honestly, for a dock, with the window chaining into it. But it looks like that is going to be enough, and they get the tag. Good discipline by Angelz on not wasting that pallet. They know that they need to keep that up if they want to. Wispy knows, though, they haven't seen Slamma. Slamma very well could be pressuring this. Big shock not going to get anyone, and no pressure as well. And I think Wispy knows now that Slamma has to be working Gallows, but it doesn't matter. The gen pops anyway. Slamma with the adrenaline heal is now. Wispy needs to scramble to find a fresh survivor and get a hook. If they can do that, they'll have 7 sages and a pretty okay result for this map. As you see Spitz working the door. I don't remember who our fresh was quite. As we see, yeah, every survivor over here. As Spitz going to be forced to the really short filler over here. This should just be kind of a free tag for Doc with how small that filler is and the rocks around it. As Spitz going to wrap back to the door. I don't think that door quite has enough progress on it. We see Slamma working it though. As Spitz is probably going to be able to wrap the main building. I don't think they're going to make the vault, and they're going for it anyways, but the net is too good. And they are going to make it quite in. Wispy going for the vault, needs to cut them off if they want to try to make this. Big shot coming in. Going to break that back door. Wispy can play a bit of a mind game here very well. Both injured survivors over here. As they know, they're going to take that tag on the Slamma. Yeah, it looks like they're going to commit. Just watching to make sure they're not crossing. They get the tag here. They do. Maybe we see Angelz and Spitz fall off and go for that reset, but we do see the fake dock and the scream by Spitz at main. I don't think that's going to quite be the case. Oh, they do get 1 heal on the Spitz. Spitz could choose to just key to the door and maybe let Angelz get hatch. As it seems like we're maybe committing to main building. Nope, not going to quite be it. Just be going up top. These Angelz, yeah, they're last injured survivor. If they tag Spitz, I think both survivors, if positioned properly here, could make it back. As yeah, Wispy knows they need the force in the tier 3 here. Because once they're in tier 3, they no longer can keep going for that reset. Because if they can stall this out long enough, endgame collapse will take them. The survivors are going to have to just send in a pretty risky play maybe here. As Wispy out just keeping tabs. As long as they keep shocking Angelz here, that's all that matters. As yeah, Spit's gonna snap out of it here. As yeah, they know their time's running low here. They just need to hold them. The survivors need to do something. Need to make sure at least one of them get out the door. You cannot afford to let both of them die here. The end game collapse. Maybe Spitz needs to just cut his losses, and it looks like that's what he's doing, is he wants to just go for it. But Spitz body block between the cactus and the rock. They make some progress to the door, but not going to be quite enough to make it out of the gates together. As yeah, Angelz just held here. That time coming ever lower. As this could be it. Angelz goes for something, isn't going to quite be able to do it because the time is so low. And that'll be, I think, another fresh hook on the Angelz. Spit's going to make it out the door pretty easily here. But if you're Wispy, you got to be pretty happy about that, at least getting that last fresh at the end of the day. As that is 7 stages, 3 fresh. And not a bad result at all for Doc on this map. Survivors played very well, though, pressuring those gens. Just keeping Wispy having to do pressure that really could fully commit to chase without being very punished for it. As we will be right back for our second half of the Doc set. And we are back in for Team Finesse's serve side against Doc and Team Angelz Killer side. WinCon 4 flicks here on Doc is 8 stages or 7k with all 4 survivors hooked once. As we do find Wispy here at main building, as it seems like Flix wants to commit to it. We see another survivor up top here, as we are going to choose to bamboozle that window, revealing a perk for them, Corrupt and Bam. As Wispy is playing that pallet. Yep, the double mid pallet here, very strong for survivors. Gonna throw down that first one here is if Flix wants to. Oh, but gets the mind game. I was gonna say if they want to win this, they gotta really break that pallet, but it doesn't matter. They're able to win the mind game. And Wispy dropping Shack here. Pretty good start for Flix, getting that super strong pallet out of the way. As we do here, this gen has a bit of progress, and we see, I think that is Slow-Mo over at the edge filler. Not a very good filler here, as we saw last game. Gonna happen at it pretty fast, but we're just gonna opt to break it. As we do key to the back of the main building. Gonna probably go up top for that vault, I'd imagine, but isn't going to, as they're gonna wrap towards that 12 side and just choose to go in that way. As it looks like they're not gonna go for the vault, they're just gonna take that tag. Running through mid, taking maximum distance, running to that corrupted area. As the heal on Wispy happens, only one survivor possibly pressuring a gen right now. As they're gonna hit the shock on them, as they're gonna be forced to either play the front filler here or the water tower, and it looks like it'll be the filler. No, Slow-Mo just choosing to run around it, keep that distance going. As great shocks by Flix, not letting them play the vault. It's now forced the water tower. As it's gonna shock them out here. Will they commit to dropping the pallet? Doesn't quite hit that shock. Doesn't hit that one. Slow-Mo playing this very well. It does pre-drop the pallet, but gets the vault off. As great play by them to be able to stall us out. And there goes the first gen, main building popping in the distance. As they might go for the vault here. I think that was a little late of a shock, and it was. Slow-Mo putting up a very good chase here, but does get mind game as I say that. It does get down, but that is 2 gens. That is a very strong early chase for them. As we do hook them at water tower. And now is the design time for Flix. What do they want to do? Not a great regen, honestly, now. As with the big shock hitting them on Gallows, we hear a little bit of progress over here. No ruin to regress it, as we see no totem or no regression on generator. We see someone wrapping the back of main building, choosing not to commit to them. Maybe going for the survivor we saw in mid here. Can't quite tell who that is. It looks like it's Wispy playing aggressive here. As yeah, Wispy playing aggressive, wanting to threaten that unhook, and it is working for them as Flix is looking to choose to commit to them. As Wispy getting shocked here at the top of those stairs, but they see apply as they know 2 survivors are here. They could double stay this, or they could just fake the pressure here and let Finesse work a gen off somewhere else. As it looks like Flix just shocking, trying to scout out if Wispy's coming in for this. Yeah, going for the big shock now. It's no one. They know they're just giving up on this hook. They're going to let it, looks like, hit second unless they were in a locker nearby. As it looks like they are going to go second stages. We do, I think that was that Wispy, I want to say, based on the skin? Yeah, that was, as this is now Finesse. And both these gens up here having very high progress. Slow-Mo does go second. As it looks like we're going to commit for the tag here onto Finesse. Nope, we're going to just choose to shock them, put them in tier 2, and go back. The pull on Slomo happens. Flicks, they can get a fast chase here. They can get an elimination at 3, possibly 2 or 1 generator, depending on how proficient they are on those gens that had high progress topside. As, yeah, looks like we're going to just commit to them. Still have a lot of pallets inside. Is Shaq already used by Wispy earlier in the trial. Heard Gallows had a lot of pressure on it. As Wispy, yeah, just going to choose to take the body block here, it looks like. Help them make it a little bit deeper in the Gallows, maybe. Or back to main building, it looks like. Yeah, Slomo going to just choose to commit to that. As we see the Gallows gen pop, we heard the Legend 12. I'm pretty sure that Street gen that they're working has a lot of progress as well. As this could very well be all gens popping very, very shortly here. But does get the shock, but the head-on comes in by Finesse with the Cracker Blind. As now Flick's a little disoriented, maybe not going back to that. As they know, yeah, they need to get someone down fast here. They see Wispy injured, still behind this building. If they can get this down in the next 20 seconds or so, they might be able to get it down before this last gen pops. But we heard that 12 Street Gen had a lot of progress, and this gen here at 6 has a bit of progress as well. So Survivor's doing very well at keeping a lot of pressure on Doctor here. As Wispy just choosing to leave the wagon pallet, doesn't want to play it. Just gonna take them as far off into the distance as they can. And yeah, Wispy not even care about hugging that, just wants to die full corner, maybe even forcing locker if this is the right edge map tile, but it isn't. But yeah, full hedge death as the heal on Slomo does come through, so only 1 survivor possibly pressuring those gens. And not a lot of options for hooks. It seems like Flick's gonna take the hook in the corner. As will a generator pop? No, it won't, as we hear them scream in the distance as there's the first pain res. Both killers in the dock sets not getting good pain reses for those first hooks. Bit unfortunate there, but as I think that was a Ply that is going to vault into this tile. Yeah, that is. Supply is going to run through the bottom now. Bam on the window. They only have the pallet here. Shocked once. Not going to quite make it. Flick's not going for another shock. Just going to swing, and they connect. As Apply running toward Shaq, maybe being the one to pressure the hook. They don't care if they're injured. Nope. There goes another survivor getting the pull himself. As we see. And there is Slomo. Possibly here to support to this game. As if they can take hits, we might see Finesse pop that gen over in the street. And we do. But Apply kind of sandbagging the pallet drop. But it doesn't matter because they have a Dren. As if Flix wants to just, they need to get possibly the kill onto Slomo and maybe another fresh fire, but that'll only be a tie as they need to slug out here and get a couple more hooks, but Slomo's not gonna let that happen as they're just gonna possibly take the death. And so Wispy knows it as well. It doesn't matter. And I'm assuming Finesse on this door as the survivor is not really caring. Yep, we see the door, it's almost done. Apply running for it. Here's both survivors taking hits as I don't think that's gonna be quite enough stages for Flix here to take that. As I'm not mistaken, that's only gonna be 5. Yeah, I think so, as we don't quite find them. I think they're going for the hatch. Are they going to make it? No, they're going to be right in front of it. It looks like. Yeah. As we're going to bring them to this mid-hook. That is another great set for Team Finesse as they go up 2-0 in this series. Putting themselves at match point. Next set being the unknown. Team Angelz really needs to take that one to bring back some momentum if they want to have a chance of recovering this and bringing the reverse sweep to Team Finesse. As, yeah, we will be right back for the final, or what possibly could be the final set with Unknown. And we are back for what could be our final set of the day. Flicks on the killer for Team Angelz versus Team Finesse Survivors. As this was just Team Angelz set, so I should have a bit more house in this one. This goes for shot in main, does hit it. Great shot there. Through main building window, as Apply already marked. As it looks like we are going to commit to the chase on them. Goes for the hit, does hit it. Apply tries to dodge, but splashing it onto the coal minecart is going to be enough for dropping that teleport at the front of main. We saw this over here, so I imagine that gets cleansed. As Flix is going to just be stuck behind main building here with that UVX on their head still. As tries to die on pallet. Yeah, is going to commit to dying on pallet. We know Survivor's round. This could be a pallet tip coming in. As it looks like we were TPing maybe to catch someone going for that cleanse. As now Flix paranoid, wanting to find if there is a survivor here. Or was it an elaborate play by Apply to just bait time? Whatever it is, it seems to be working, as Flix is paranoid, definitely. That totem popping in the distance. I don't hear the steps. Oh, they did run up. I didn't hear them as the palliative comes in to apply. They do have that teleport in front main, though, as they're going to commit, and that should just be the instant M1. Yeah, it is. Good TP placement by Flix there to still get the down pretty efficiently here, even with the pallet save coming in. As they are going to hook it looks like deep top here. As we see, I'm imagining one of the box legends pop off in the distance. As we see, as we reveal our next for Grim Embrace here, we see a decent bit of scratch marks around as someone might be lurking close for the save. Scratch marks getting a little heavier over here. As I think, yeah, hugging this rock, Wispy is found. As it looks like we're going to go for the mark on them as well. And we get it. So yeah, Wispy can only do a lot injured and marked by the unknown. As now Flix really just seems to want to hold the line here. Looking for someone lurking up. I don't know if we heard them at the edge map there. Possibly, yeah, we see the scratch marks as we did. As I think that slow-mo going for the hook, will they be able to pull up and get the mark on both of them at the hook? They are going to go for it. Is it going to be enough? Not quite going to do it with the bounce, betraying Flix there. As they are going to take as much distance down as they can. They have the TP to cut them off, and Apply knows it. They have to just stay in this corner. Not all they can do. They could die on this pallet again, go for another pallet save. But they are just going to pre-slam and take their distance down. Goes to the Cracker, gets the blind, but still able to get the mark on the slow-mo. Flix, great read there through the blind. Apply isn't able to make it down to this tile 3 here. Unfortunate bounce on the gen here as they're going to be able to make it and pre-drop this. We see Slow-Mo still lurking, got the mark off their head. They can protect Apply a little bit better here. But with the TP dropped, not all they can do. They can just commit relatively for free. And Slow-Mo not able to come in time to take that hit. As they are going to just get the pickup here and bring it back top. Seems like, yeah, the top mid hook. As Wispy healed up. And I assume Finesse, the one that healed them, they could be perfect top side, or they could just be splitting Gen's bottom. We will see as I see some scratch marks. I don't quite tell who that is, but we did see the mark, the head with the mark of Wispy behind this rock here. And I don't know if quite our killers noticed, and they did, but it doesn't matter. Sprimper is not going to be able to let them get that hit on them as they are teleporting back. They want to defend this. If they can get this kill, it'll be very good, especially with the mark on Slow-Mo. Gonna be able to pressure him as now that's a lot of hard coming in trade if they keep it. Goes for it. Bounce shot, not able to be able to land on that generator. I assume Wispy is going there, but it doesn't matter. Finesse is here. Finesse is here to protect, even though Slow-Mo has the mark on him. As seems like we're gonna cut off below logs. Survivor is calling that. Just camping the top side, gonna force them to walk around the top side of these logs. As Finesse just body block and try not to let this happen. Probably teleport to the Orman tile, cutting off Apply. Apply able to wrap to the 4 lane. Not a great tile for Survivors here. As a great moves there by Apply, but not gonna be quite enough to deny them the splash damage on them. As now with a mark, this could be a down here. Holding it up, as it looks like we're just gonna get the M1, and we will. As we are gonna just pick up here. But a Cracker save, could that be a Cracker save? And it is! Flix picking up maybe a little too soon there. Gonna get another save on to Apply. These Survivors playing very well together. As it's always an interesting point with these types of tourneys to see how well these Survivors work together is you're not allowed to draft your normal teammates that you have. So it forces kind of the unique synergies and stuff you have to play around. As now they're a check. I think we see 2 Survivors down here. Maybe just to remove their UVX from them. Maybe just to play support here as they know that they can play very well. As a little bit of a rough bounce there for Flix. As Apply still just going to be playing the check. Maybe went for him a mind game or maybe just dropping a TP. Yeah. Oh. As they are not going to be quite able to get the hit on the pallet there. It seems like they're just trying to hide themselves from Apply. Keep that mark on them. Pulls up. As Apply, brilliant by him as he's able to not quite take the damage and drop the pallet, which will buy enough time for him to remove his mark on him. As we see Wispy down here, yeah, Flix does not care about them. They want their tunnel out here. Goes for a bit of an Emma mind game, isn't going to quite get it. Apply pre-dropping that pallet. But they do have the teleport here to possibly cut them off. I think we heard them at the back of the tile, but Flix seems like just going to give up. They want to go for a fresh Survivor here. A great bounce, but not going to quite get the mark at the end of the day onto them. As with the stun by Finesse, we see another gen pop. I think that was towards the 9-10 side. Yeah, As you see Slow-Mo trying to remove his mark, playing that max range to remove it. As Finesse playing this inside main building. Go for the mark. Is going to be able to evade it. Has the really small filler here. 3 drops, but a good mind game by Flix. Be able to get the injury. With the teleport, this could be a fast down here. If they win another mind game here. Nope, they're going to instead just go for the mark. Wins the mind game there. And Finesse is going to go down. And now that will be another fresher for them, but that's still 4 survivors in the trial. We know Wispy and Apply were both bot. So I wonder if we're going to see one of those 2 bot gens get done very shortly. As we see the Grim come in, that will slow them down for about 8 seconds. As we teleport, Wispy almost caught going for the cleanse there, but didn't quite touch in time because they don't have the mark on their head. As yeah, this gen has a lot of progress. We also find Apply here. Apply is healthy though, as they do get the mark on them here, and this towel doesn't have a pallet. He used it earlier. As I think Apply, yeah, gets the slow vault off. Will we get the down, or the injured? Not quite enough. Wispy pressuring that gen. As we're going to choose to kick it, we see the heal coming on topside on the Finesse. Slow-Mo had to be the one to do that. As now the survivors seem to just want to play slow. They 2-2 split this. 2 on topside, 2 on bottom. As we're going to take the tag on to Apply. As both survivors down bottom are injured. As if he can get it down, if Flix can get it down here pretty fast, this could still be a good spot, especially if it's on Apply. Apply is Death Hook still. Going for some mind games. A good greed by Apply, as I think this chains into a vault here. I don't know if they're going to make it. And they do! Flix swinging, collecting some stone. As Wispy caught it at the gem, but Sprint Burst will save them away from this. As it seems like they're going to make the vault. Flix knows it, and they're just going to maybe go for the mark. Isn't going to quite do it. As it seems like this should just be an M1 down here. So I wonder if we might see an Adrenaline play come in or something. Possibly to pick up. Nope, isn't going to quite be it. As I imagine that top gen, Slow-Mo and Finesse not coming down here. That gen should be popping since we see Apply rotating up around the water tower. As it seems like Flix gonna hook basement, they might just choose to take their 6 stages here. If they can teleport away, they will get Grim on this though. If they can hit their TP fast enough, and they will, that gen's not gonna be able to pop. We know Apply was rotating up here, and we hear them here. We hear them at this tile. If we can get down, and we get Slow-Mo. That's injured. This is very recoverable for Flix. As if they can get it down here with the power and chase the other, Finesse has to make a decision on what he wants to do here. Goes for the shot. Isn't going to quite be enough to quite drop Slow-Mo to the ground. As Apply rotating the shack, I imagine going for that unhook, and Finesse just cranking that gen. Will the down come in? Not quite enough. Hugging so tightly to that wall to not get splash damage there. As the pull on Wispy happens, as that gen top very well could be popping any second now. As the down does happen on the Slow-Mo. As I don't know if this is quite our last fresh. I think it is. As Apply, Wispy, and Finesse have been hooked. As you see scratch marks around is this, I think Flix, it looks like, might be trying to take their last stage here. It will be interesting. They won't get the gem regression, but I think they'll still get the aura, if I'm not mistaken, on the Wispy. Looking around, yeah, we see Wispy topside going for that door. As Wispy has been hooked once. As I wonder if we'll see the door just be popped soon, or if there is a lurking Finesse or Apply down here. As the heal happens on Apply. We don't know quite where that is right now, as it looks like, yeah, we're just going to come up. They want to go for more. As we see Finesse here, and Wispy, and Apply. All survivors are up here, and not quite the injury coming in, as Apply should be able to remove the UVX from them. Gonna vault the main building here. As I imagine Wispy working that door, possibly at the one corner. It seems like we're going to just commit to Finesse here. We want to go for another down, it looks like. Slow-Mo might hit second, honestly, because I don't think anyone's going to be able to cross to him in time. Apply might be able to make it, but it'll be close call. As not going to get the injured Finesse. Brilliant moves by him, as he's wrapping back in the mid. As Finesse looks like they want to make sure they make it pretty close to top as they can. But no, both survivors crossing down. We see Wispy and Apply off in the distance. They want to go for the save. I think Slow-Mo's going to hit second still, though. As it'll be very close. Will they quite get the pull? And they do before second. That is very good for them. Wispy pressuring. Gonna take the M1. Is now everyone but Apply is injured, but Apply's the only survivor. If you are Flix, you do not want to go for it, as Flix is worth the least. As it seems like, yeah, we're gonna just go for them. We're gonna see if we can hit someone with the shot. Isn't gonna quite be able to connect onto them. As we're gonna commit to Shack, we want to see him to commit to Slow-Mo. I imagine Apply just blocks his door. Is gonna take the M1. As Apply's goal now is just to die for these survivors. are worth the least. You want to just deny as many stages as we can. We go for the cutoff teleport, and it does work. Slow-mo is caught out with it. As it looks like we know these survivors love to go for their saves, and we might be able to get a fly here as well. If we can get the end down here, ooh, a good bounce there, but not going to quite be enough. As we see Wispy pushing in, Wispy could be caught out here as well. As all survivors are injured, and yeah, I don't think they make anything unless they have the SV perfectly 99'd. And they go for the lunge. They are going to get it, as their teleport is, I think, back up. Nope, it looks like we're just going to take the hook on the Wispy. As that'll be, if they commit to this, I think that'll be 7 stages. But it looks like they could maybe go for a TP, and it looks like they're going to. As we find Apply. Apply's not going to make it to that door in time. This should be an M1, and we see, I think that is Slow-mo. This pallet's gone. Yeah, no, we don't even want them. We want to go for Slow-mo. He's worth the most here with those 2 stages left on him. Wings hits them, goes down. As this could be a 4K, honestly. With the state, we have it down on the Slow-mo. We know Apply's up here. Finesse, I'd imagine, might be getting that pull unless Apply's the one that rotated all the way for it. But that's a long way to go. We might be able to teleport and catch him out if that is the case. It's hook coming in, the pull on Wispy happening. We're teleporting bot. We want to see who this is. As it looks like it was Apply, who has the mark on his head, just quite removes it. It's Apply now. Not a lot they can do. No sprint burst, no nothing, no pallet. This will just be death in the corner. As it looks like, yeah, we're not going to take that hook. The pull happens on Slow-mo cross map. And unless they can catch Wispy out from crossing, I don't know quite if they're going to get another stage here. Teleports back up. They teleport to 3. No one at 3. We didn't spot anyone at the gate. They could be resetting to try to make sure they can take hits to get Wispy out of here. They could also, Wispy could already be top and they're just stalling out maybe to let them crawl the hatch. I have no idea right now. As yeah, the heal comes in on the Slow-mo. Wispy taking the act. And it looks like Flix knows it, as they're just going to take the hook. A great recovery at the end of the day by Flix with two or 3 saves. But at the end of the day, getting 8 stages out of that is not bad at all with all freshes. That'll be a tough result to beat for Team Finesse's killer. But not an impossible one nonetheless, as we'll be right back to see how that game goes. And we are back in with Wispy on the killer and Team Angelz on the survivor. Now, because of a double firecracker, Team Angelz, if they can only let 8 survivor hook stages go and get the rest out, that will be the win for them and the set. But if Wispy can get 9, because of that half-stage penalty, that will still be the win for them and the series. As we do spot a survivor behind main, but doesn't seem like we want to commit for that. We want to catch one rotating, and we do. I think we spotted Flix here, wrapping towards the bottom side of the map. Yeah, Flix seems to just be playing maximum distance, and we also spot, I think that was Angelz as well. A lot of info for Wispy here on the killer. This goes for a quick mark, is not able to quite get it at this filler. For an M1 game, does get it. Angelz drops the pallet stunned, but isn't going to be enough as the injury comes in. If they just have an Orman tile here, this isn't the strongest pallet, and we know they're going to be, yeah, goes for the vault, isn't going to quite get it, as that is a very fast go down for Wispy. I'd imagine that not a lot of pressure had by these survivors. As if Wispy can get a good hook here, they can have a lot of pressure on this game. We're not going to go for too far of a hook, but we are going to get our first pain res going for them. Wispy doesn't want to seem the camp. They want to go play aggressive. They want to get these stages going. As if they can get a couple marks or injures on survivors, they could force this pull to happen early. They have a TP pretty close by. As you see a survivor wrapping the hill, as they're going to kick this gen. With our pop goes the Weasel and Eruption. As we see Flix rotating up. As we see now Wispy with the full kick gem regression build. They want to just deny these gens as fast as they can. As the pull happens on Angelz over yonder. As you see, Spit's the one that did it, probably. As if we can find Angelz here, this could be a very, very potent spot for them. If we do see them wrapping Shack here, as if this is fast here, this could be a possible death hook at 5 gens here. It looks like they do. I don't know if they quite make this pallet. No, Wispy thinks they do, and they're just going to take the safety mark here. Angelz forced to drop the pallet because of it. Now, they do have the filler here, but this isn't necessarily the strongest filler versus Unknown. Unknown able to splash his power on a lot of different stuff here. And Angelz knows it, just going to key to Shack here is, I don't know if they're going to make it back to that filler. Didn't choose to go for the mark. Is barely going to miss out on that. It's now Angelz team back to that filler. TP placed behind Shack. He's gonna get the mark on their head, but not injured yet because they removed their last one. As I think we see a survivor on the hill, possibly playing maybe for a pallet save here. As great moves by Angelz running into the killer's face, not quite letting them get that. We see a gen pop on the top side here. As Angelz playing very well at this pallet here, wrapping around it now. Are they gonna be able to get the down here? Good fake by them. They're wrapping the short side. As I think this should be the lunge and hit by Wispy. It is not. You see the TP behind Shaq? They're gonna commit to it. As now this should be the down for them on Angelz, and it will be with the eruption. But 2 gens popping, a very good start for Team Angelz survivor side here. If they're able to keep that kind of pressure up, they could be in a very good spot here. As it looks like it's going to be a hook basement, yeah. Seems like they want to maybe camp this. Gonna be kind of rough on the hook as you can get those marks on the stairs coming up if they commit to pulling. It seems like would be wanting to break these pallets, eliminate these resources, keep them, if the pull happens, keep them stranded on an island bot side here. I think we see Spit there. It looks like wanting to pressure downwards towards the side of the map, place the teleport in mid to cut them off. And Spitz seems like committing now down here to this Orman tile. And not the super strong tile, wrapping this window, but it seems like gonna get them marked to the wall through the splash. We see the scratch marks here. As it looks like, yeah, Wispy has a lot of knowledge on these survivors. We see them behind Shaq here. It seems like they are gonna just pressure and let them maybe go here. Angelz, if this is a death this early, it's very well to be a 9-stage or a 4K, but not a great gen setup though for Wispy here. Having the 2 gens they have bottom that are most of the deals super far apart, being that 5 and 9 tile, respectfully. As we know where every survivor is now, Spitz pressuring the gen, Blix wanting to pressure the save, and Slammo cranking that last topside gen. Because I don't know if they can even make it to this pull in time. Flix needs to commit into this now if he wants to. As they're teleporting, it looks like they're going to. I don't know if they're going to make it. Yeah, that must be a bit of a miscommunication if they're going for it or not. As Flix now in basement, mark on his head. As if Wispy just body blocks us, they can get a hit here on the stairs, and then an M1 before they even make that vault. Not going to quite be able to. Flix to be able to remove the mark, as the TP not quite up for them to use yet. As it seems like wrapping the backside of Shaq. Is Wispy just going to give up on that? Wants to pressure Spitz here. Or, my mistake, Slamma here, working this gen. As there goes the mark onto them, is now for the survivors a very good spot. And a blast mine coming in just to slow them down even more. That'll almost guarantee that I think Flix makes it out of the bottom side to rotate up for the reset top side. As I think this might be Spitz lurking around here in this corner. We might have saw him over there behind the rocks, but nope. We see the scratch marks behind Shaq. Because, yeah, going to be playing the Shaq. His Cracker going to be dropped. And they're going to vault it. Going to the back. Wispy not wanting to use that teleport, wanting to possibly save it going into the mid area. As they are just going to choose to leave. As you see Slamma committing, Flix not going to get reset, it looks like. Maybe Flix is pressuring that gen in the corner. They know that it doesn't matter if they commit, then Spitz and Slamma can just commit to this last gen. And possibly take their outs that way. As if it seems like Wispy might know that their injured survivor is over here. And we do see, yes, Spitz and Flix over here. And this gen's pretty high progress now, looking like 75%. Spitz staring Wispy down from the top of the hill. Gonna go for the mark on them. Are they gonna get it? Spitz not gonna allow it to happen. As holding that Orman filler, not gonna quite get the injury. They're pre-dropping it. As we see, maybe an unlucky 7% skill check by them. As yeah, we see Slamma here camping that another Orman filler. Gonna get the injury on them. They're not gonna be able to make any distance. This could very well be a death on the bottom side again. And a pretty solid spot for them as well. If they're able to stall us out, they have the eruption. There's their gens, and they do, yeah, eruption proccing. And I'm pretty sure we know that there's a pain res hook here as well because Angelz was hooked on it earlier. They are going to take it, yeah. Now we have the pop goes the Weasel up, and here's that gem regression. Absolutely chunking down those generators from afar. Going for the long mark, they aren't going to quite, looks like, get it. As Flick's just going to play aggressive on that gen, it seems like. With Spitz maybe lurking around for save, we have no idea where he is currently. As if Spitz can go unfound on this gen, and Flix can play safe enough wrapping around this hill. Looking in a very good spot, but there's the pop goes the Weasel. That gen dropped from probably about 90%, with Flix even pressuring his build to about 50, it looks like. Is unhook happening. Slamma camping the pallet. Gonna go to the TNL. Is with the sprint burst, not gonna get punished. As I was mistaken, maybe that was Spitz camping it. It's Flix is here that got the unhook. But Flix wrapping the window. I don't know if he's gonna make it back to that pallet quite. Because no, he's just gonna stay at the window. And with the TP dropping the Militao, I don't think they're gonna quite be able to get this down, but a good mind game by them. Now stuck at the pallet side. Gonna take the mark, not gonna quite get it on them as they're wrapping the window. Brilliant play here by Flix. Just stalling this out. TP's, I think, maybe a little bit misclick. No, it seems like they're happy to just pressure this gen. As Flix free to go to topside if he wants to, or just pressure that gen to get the stop the regression on it right now. As Spitz marked, it seems like maybe Wispy wants to commit to this, maybe go over her ninja right now. As he is with the body block into that. I don't know if Spitz is going to make this. And yeah, a bit of a 2-tap there, able to get the M2 marked and down. But isn't going to pick. Instead, is just going to go for this. Wispy knows that if they can 4K slug this, they have it. Nading those 9 stages, if you can 4K with gens remaining, it doesn't matter what penalty you took. As the down on to Slamma, as they know where Flix is injured. TP on cooldown though, as we just used it. As if they can cut off Flix from getting this pickup on Spitz, it doesn't matter how in the chase is, it should just be the end of it. Nope, they are able to get it. As we commit to Flix, doesn't quite get the tag on him through the vault. Is now stuck at the Wendy's, Spitz wrapping up. Gonna go for the M2 on him, doesn't quite connect. Has Flix on an island here at this window. But isn't able, Wispy not able to commit, knowing Spitz is rotating to this. And Flix now pressing down as well. Both survivors injured, neither of them marked with UVX. Maybe Wispy going for a bit of a mind game in the forward lane. Doesn't seem like it's going to work. Spitz reading it is going to make it up to the filler. Wispy going for the mark, not going to be able to connect either. As I don't see Flix pushing in for the save, so I wonder if he's going back for that corner 5 gen around the hill. Because it looks like now we're just going to take the hook on the Slamma. Get another pain res. Knock that gen in the corner down again. Oh, maybe not. Unless this hook is a pain res as well. Don't think it was. I didn't hear any scream from Flix off in the distance if he was working it. Has a lot of good teleports here. We have Eruption on that gen. Yeah, no, this gen isn't regressing. I don't think Flix is able to get it. But a Blast Mine is going to be able to probably let that unhook happen. Yeah, it is. We are going to get the pop. We have the TP on mid, though, to cut off. It seems like we're going to force Flix off the hill, maybe to burn that bounce landing. As we're going to catch Slam here. Spitz pre-dropping the pallet at the Ormond. As this is a TNL, not particularly strong, or we are going to get the mark onto Slamma. As I don't know if Spitz committed down or if that was just scratch mark from before. As now he's still stuck at this pallet. As going to wrap the TNL, vault commits to the ball through. Is with the life is going to make it up. We see why he pre-dropped that pallet now to make sure he can get life up. But he is going to get them. As we find the Sharp is injured. As this could be a very bad spot here. The mark on Slamma and both injured. This could be the down here before they make it to top. Slamma is able to remove the mark on them before taking another. As both those gens getting very high progress now. Eruption on the one. If they get this down, then we could proc it. Isn't going to quite be able to Slamma hugging tight enough to deny the hit. That mark now fading off of them. As Slamma maybe in kill, they might be able to get the M1 down here. As it looks like they're swinging for it. As they are, Eruption procking onto Spitz. It looks like we're going to pick. We did not pain res them yet, though. So if we can get a pain res hook here. I don't know if Spitz looked like he was committing through the Eruption aura. As we are not going to get pain res, it looks like on him, unless I was mistaken and he already was pain res. But we hear Flix on the hill. Looks like we are going to kick this. We might better aggressions. I think we are. I don't think Wispy quite counted right. And I wonder if that's our 8th event, not kicking to get that pop value. As there's our 6th stage now with the kill onto Slamma. And now the down on the Flix. As I think we know where Spitz is, but I don't think Wispy carries. At the end of the day, if this kill happens onto Flix, that will be the game. Spitz and Flix need to both make it out of this trial. If either one of them die, that is enough. Now, pain res onto this gen. Yeah, not able to regress that gen in the corner, it looks like, anymore with enough eruptions and pain reses. As now Wispy just looking. They have the mark on Spitz's head. He's injured. There's a blood trail going to be behind him. But he is an ace, so he's quite quiet. But it doesn't matter. Spitz going to be caught out in mid here. As it looks like Wispy, if they get this down, then it's 100% over. And that will be, I think, the 3-0 for Team Finesse. If they take the set, and it looks like with the teleport it will be, is that should be the 4K1 for Wispy. A very good result for them, playing that bottom side very well. You know, it wasn't really a good 3-gen with how far these are apart, but those TPs made it very doable for them. As that will be enough, I think, at the end of the day. Is Wispy just gonna take a walk to the shack here, down to the basement. Because they don't need to do anything, they're gonna go back down here. As they're powering the hook. I don't know quite what they're doing. As we wait for these survivors to die. As that will be it. I think that will be the 3-0 for Team Finesse, if I'm mistaken. As great result for them. And honestly, not a bad result at the end of the day. Even though they did get 3-0'd, none of the results were really, like, that bad. As it's just rough, some synergy stuff with letting some of those hit downs come through, maybe some miscoms, but showed a great show synergy for Team Finesse with how much they played for those saves, how much they really never, I feel like, got caught out as much, going for rotations, for pushing those generators, never really getting punished as much. As we do see the hatch close coming in, and that will be it, a 3-0 for Team Finesse. GG's to both teams. As I don't think there's another game coming up this weekend, but we do have the other 3 qualifier games coming up next weekend, as those will be very interesting to watch, as you see the rest of the teams that will be moving on to the semifinals. But thank you all for coming out, and we hope to see you next weekend for other qualifier games. Have a good night.